police will that means people are not safe. People are not safe. This is happening in Abia State.
Cases of kidnapping, armed robbery, and one-chance vehicle operators have increased in the country, especially in the Federal Capital Territory. The recent being the abduction of 6 sisters from their residence at Suma in the Buhari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory on January 3rd. Some Abuja residents who reacted to the warning issue accused the federal government, FCT minister, and the security agencies of not doing enough and being insensitive to the cry of the people. Clayview News correspondent tells us more.
Outreach had trailed the recent abduction of 6 siblings and their father in the Buhari Area Council of Abuja on January 3, 2024. The kidnappers reportedly killed one of the sisters, identified as Nabiba, after their parents could not meet the deadline for payment of 60 million naira ransom. The gruesome act has anchored Amnesty International and has urged the Nigerian government to treat the recent kidnapping across the country as an emergency. FCT residents, in their reactions, described the abductions as an epidemic that has become part of daily life in Nigeria, especially in the FCT.
I don't want to streamline it to FCT. Even in the state, it's even more terrible in the state. They are all human beings. That the president resides in FCT doesn't make him more important to people in the village, in the rural community. We are all human beings. We have blood, flesh and blood running in us, water running in us. So we don't need to, look at it from that perspective of FCT. We are all human beings. We need to look at insecurity generally.
We haven't seen any officer that has been queried, or brought to book for these wanton killings and kidnappings. FCT in the past 20 years, like I was telling my wife the other day, that has become something else. I remember when we were younger, we could go out at night to daybreak, and you are like in safe haven. It's no more like that anymore. So I don't think they're doing enough.
The minister, FCT minister, is not doing enough. It was when he came. He has not even given enough attention to the security situation in Abuja here. So many people, have come into Abuja from various parts of the country. Nobody checks them. During the time of Verify, it was not as bad as this. Kidnappers, bandits now. So the minister has not done enough. He has to double all his efforts.
Somebody says something that within 24 hours, if something happens within Nigeria, talk less of a state, they're supposed to know the solution and know what to do about it.
Some of these street parliamentarians said what is going on in Abuja is a reflection of what has been happening in other parts of Nigeria. They, however, urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to take all lawful measures to end the cycle of violence in the country. They also want the FCT minister, Nyesom Wike, to concentrate on the governance of the territory and leave Rivers politics alone.
In FCT, yes, we see that it's actually eating up part of FCT. And the best solution, the best option, from my opinion, is to create jobs, employment for the youths. You understand? By the time you engage most of these youths, they will be the security themselves.
The way forward is for the president to take charge and give marching orders. And marching orders with specifications, with timelines. In the next 1 month, I don't want to say this anymore. If it keeps going in the next 1 month, then you sack the service chief. Get somebody who can do it. It doesn't matter the person's age or rank. You could go down the ranks and get somebody who has the lever to do it. But the idea is doable. Again, too, it's also to call the religious leaders and to talk to them. Nigeria is ours. If we make Nigeria inhabitable, where do we go to?
So he has to keep holding meetings. It's not as if the thing will end overnight. You should be holding meetings, just like you, the media too. You come out to seek what is the way forward. Somebody might give you an idea, and it gets to the government works with it, and it works.
Statistics have indicated that over 200 people were either killed or abducted in Abuja in the last 3 months of 2023, as economic experts express fears that the ugly trend could scare away investors and discourage diplomats from living in the nation's capital, while Nigeria's security rating in the world will be badly affected.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has commenced confidence-building visits to area councils in the territory, declaring that security agencies will henceforth make it hot for bandits. His visit came against the backdrop of incessant kidnap and killing of victims by bandits in the area. Wike, who visited Buhari Town, the headquarters of Buhari Area Council, held a town hall meeting with the residents, traditional rulers, security, defense, and intelligence personnel in the area and other stakeholders. The minister is expected to also visit other councils in the coming days. At the event, Wike declared that enough was enough and that informants working for the bandits will not be able to sleep among decent residents. Wike also sought the assistance of the people, especially with regards to providing information to security agencies. A pro-Northern group, the Coalition of Northern Groups, has stressed on the need for Nigeria to adopt a more holistic approach in combating security threats across the country. Their call is coming amidst growing tensions over the seemingly worsening insecurity in the Federal Capital Territory and the country at large. They made their call at a press conference this Thursday in Abuja. Let's now join Clavius Gloriata for details.
For over a decade now, Nigeria has been battling with a myriad of security challenges across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, which has continued to threaten her political and economic stability as well as her territorial integrity. The worsening security situation has left hundreds of thousands of people dead and even more displaced, increasing the poverty and unemployment level in the country, despite the intervention of the federal government and the nation's security agencies. Worried by the prevailing trend, especially in the northern part of the country, where the activities of terrorist, banditry and kidnapping groups have now become the order of the day, a pro-northern group, the Coalition of Northern Groups, at a press conference in Abuja, has stressed on the need for a change in the approach in handling of the lingering insecurity in the country.
Recognizing the urgent need for a change in approach, the Coalition of Northern Groups took a bold and necessary by assembling a committee of security experts. This committee, which has been working for the past 3 months, examined the inadequate response to the security crisis, highlighting the absence of synergy among security agencies, the lack of cooperation between the states and federal government, and the neglect of public involvement in combating these issues. A roundtable discussion was proposed that will review and provide input into the operational framework for a multidimensional approach to tackling the security challenges in the region developed by the Technical Committee of Experts.
The group added that the upcoming roundtable will bring together frontline northern state governors, security chiefs and head of security agencies, academics, policy makers and other relevant stakeholders to develop strategies for collaboration between federal, state and local governments.
The outcome of the roundtable will be a model to democratize the security project by engaging individuals and communities as well as various stakeholders to take ownership of the security efforts in the region. The roundtable will take place from the 21st to 25th of January 2024 at the Nigerian Army Resource Center in Asokoro, Abuja. The Coalition of Northern Group is committed to addressing the critical issues affecting the northern region. Through our upcoming roundtable discussion, we aim to foster collaboration, cooperation, and synergy, develop actionable strategies, and engage all stakeholders in finding sustainable solutions.
The group is confident that the roundtable will not only provide a platform to analyze the issues facing Nigeria's security architecture, but will also come up with a workable solution to bring a lasting solution to insecurity facing the country. Gloria Atta, reporting for Clearview News.
The 14th Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi II, said it is too late for the governorship candidates of the All Progressives Congress (APC) in the 2023 general elections in Kano State, Nasir Kauna, and other APC stalwarts in the state to accept defeat. Sanusi stated this at a party in Kano where he spoke on accepting destiny. Ganduje and other leaders of the party had been rooting for Kauna to take over governance in the state after the tribunal and appeal court sacked Governor Abba Yusuf of the New Nigeria People's Party (NNPP). However, the Supreme Court last Friday set aside the lower court rulings. Shortly after the apex court dashed his hopes of taking over the government, Kauna, in an interview with BBC Hausa Service, said he accepted the apex court judgment on the governorship dispute as God's decision. But responding to Kauna's assertion, the former central bank governor said it was too late for Kauna and the APC leaders to claim they were accepting the defeat as God's decision. Hear him. The best time to accept destiny is after the polls. You knew people did not vote for you. You knew you lost, but made moves to hijack power. It's too late. Unquote. Shortly after the apex court's decision, calls for the reinstatement of Sanusi as Emir of Kano resurfaced. Sanusi was dethroned as Emir of Kano by former governor Abdullahi Umar Kanduje in 2020 after he was accused of insubordination, among others. Climate change is a global challenge that affects every country, especially developing nations like Nigeria, with its impact visible across all strata of national development. With the growing carbon emission due to industrialization and urbanization, it is important for Nigeria to adopt a just, equitable, and inclusive climate change agenda, as well as sustainable financing to mitigate daunting effects and enhance resilience of its ecosystem in line with the resolutions reached at the COP28 UN Climate Change Conference held in Dubai last year. This was part of positions reached at a multi-stakeholders national consultative dialogue which held on Wednesday in Abuja. Let's now join Clearview News Gloriata for details.
Climate change is a global challenge that affects every country, especially developing countries like Nigeria. Nigeria has experienced the effects of climate change in the forms of threatened agriculture and food security, water stress, floods and droughts, rising sea levels, and stressed ecosystem. At the COP28 UN Climate Change Conference, which held from 30th November to 13th December 2023 in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, world leaders, delegates and stakeholders across the globe, dissatisfied with the slow progress across all areas of climate change action, reached a resolution to call on governments to speed up the transition away from fossil fuels to renewables such as wind and solar power in their next round of climate commitments. Over the years, the federal government has been taking steps to address climate change through policies, regulations, and international agreements. However, the country's efforts haven't yielded the needed results due to inadequate climate financing, political will, among others. Determined not to allow yet another cycle of failure in climate change actions across the country, stakeholders converged on Abuja for a multi-stakeholders national consultative dialogue to brainstorm, analyze and draw up lessons from the just concluded COP28 conference and chart a new course for accelerating climate change efforts in the country.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's not underestimate the magnitude of the task before us. Climate change is not a distant threat. We've seen what has been happening in terms of floodings, in terms of other natural disasters affecting us. Thus, it is an immediate reality. However, within this urgency lies an opportunity to redefine our relationship with the planet, to build a more resilient future for generations to come. Together, we can build a nation that leaves behind a legacy of environmental responsibility and sustainable progress.
Africa holds a solution to the climate crisis, in as much as we contribute the least and the most vulnerable continent to the impact of climate change. We are not going to look for anybody from outside the continent to come and proffer solution to our problem. We have all it takes to do it. All we are looking for is partnership. Africa is not a beggar. Nigeria is not a beggar. We want partnership on climate issues.
Every COP process should provide us with a chance to come back home and place another brick in our climate action edifice. We must make it a point of duty to ensure that. That is my clarion call to all of you today.
It is the communities that are bearing the brunt of climate change, and they are the one, I bet you many times that will go to the communities. They will be the one even suggesting to us that, oh, some years back we did something like this and we think this can work again, or we can adapt it, or we can improve on it to do something. So we are the solution. We, the communities and the CSOs that are working to enhance the work of the communities, you are the one that will provide that solution. So let's continue to see ourselves as the solution provider.
This dialogue is happening at a time when our continent, across all the 5 sub-regions, is being devastated as a result of climate change. We are also at the midpoint of the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals agenda, which call for urgent need to build resilient African society against climate change.
Earlier, the Climate and Sustainable Development Network presented a Patron Award to House of Representatives member representing Ikwano Umuahia North and South Federal Constituency, Abia State, for his contributions in accelerating climate change efforts in the country. Gloria Atta, reporting for Clearview News.
If you are just joining us, you are watching the news on Clearview News Desk. Success is not final, neither is failure fatal. The courage to continue is what counts. We will be back after this break. Stay with us. And in sports, Morocco scored 3 goals in a dominant victory over Tanzania on Wednesday in San Pedro, which confirmed their status as the highest-ranked team in Africa and tournament favorite, seeking their first AFCON title in almost 50 years. Wednesday's win strengthened Morocco's position as not just Group F but tournament favorite, building on their impressive run to the World Cup semi-finals last year. Morocco's starting lineup boasted 7 players from their World Cup squad, showcasing their depth and experience. This was in contrast with Tanzania's league stars, whose team included players from lower-tier leagues and players without clubs. The curve in quality was evident with Morocco controlling the game from the start. The second Group F match saw DR Congo and Zambia play out a 1-1 draw. Kings Kanswa's first half look gave Zambia the lead, but Juan Wesa equalized for DR Congo straight after. Meanwhile, the Ivorian government has declared Thursday, January 18, as a public holiday for all schools in the country. The holiday is not connected to the Group A second match of the host nation in the ongoing 2023 CAF African Cup of Nations tournament against the Super Eagles of Nigeria in Abidjan. There have always been accusations and counter-accusations on who cheats the most in marriage. While a school of thought blames it on the female folks, others believe man is polygamous animal and can have a number of lovers at a time. How true are these assumptions? Let's hear from Nigerians.
The word marriage is synonymous to love and happiness, but sometimes the joy and happiness that comes with marriage is usually barred by a number of cultural and socio-economic factors. One of the risk factors that continues to threaten marriage in our world today is infidelity, also known as unfaithfulness or cheating. Infidelity usually involves sexual or emotional affairs with someone outside the relationship agreement a person has with his or her spouse. Infidelity usually leaves both partners with effects that could even last a lifetime. It affects the quality of the relationship that exists between couples and their children and results in stress, depression, and other mental illnesses as well as psychological problems. The consequences of infidelity are enormous as it leads to separation, divorce, and bad blood between the couple as the jilted lover usually employs desperate measures for revenge. The news of the death of Mrs. Sonia Bassi in Calabar, Cross River State, is one of the sad consequences that infidelity can bring to a marriage. According to the Sector Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Cross River State, Mekano Hassan, the middle-aged woman met her death on the 18th of September while on a hot chase of her husband and his mistress, also known as side chick. The news has been greeted with mixed reactions from Nigerians across all quarters, with many throwing blames and raising arguments on the issue. Clearview Television interacted with some residents of Abuja who say the woman brought calamity to herself by minding her husband after spotting him with his mistress.
When you see that, you just excuse yourself. Maybe you go home and then wait for your husband to come back. Because if you die, the husband can marry another wife. Go home. When your husband come back, you know how you people will settle the issue with. Because you cannot control your husband.
It was wrong of her to engage in a car race with the husband. Personally. For God's sake, this guy is going to come home. And probably you have a phone. You could as well have taken the pictures.
Since she's your husband, you will go home, wait for him. He will definitely come back home, and then you settle it with him, not chasing after them. You see, that act ended up taking her life.
Clearview Television also sought to find out who tends to cheat more in a marriage or relationship.
The people that cheat mostly is the ladies, because ladies are very smart. You can't easily catch a woman that cheats, but you know the men now, they are not smart enough. So when they cheat, it's very obvious. They're being caught easily.
It's the male. The male will always tell you that I'm the man of the house.
Sometimes we just need to advise ourselves. These men you see sometimes, I always want to say, and I still keep on saying it, 60% of most of these men, they cheat outside. Both married was unmarried. So you don't need to kill yourself over a particular man.
The pain with infidelity is usually inevitable and can have emotionally devastating consequences. Just like the story of this woman, although families can move past infidelity with time and therapy, both partners need to work on the root causes of unfaithfulness to enable them enjoy the beauty and sanctity of a married life.
And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories.
Director of ABN TV, Unumoya Ifeanyi Okali, has expressed fears after men of the Abia State Police Command invaded the TV station and whisked away a guest, Udensi Donald, during a live program, Youth Renovo. The director said they're mostly concerned about the safety of their guests. Federal Capital Territory residents have sent a save a soul message to the federal government and the Minister of FCT over recurrent insecurity in the territory. The residents said cases of kidnapping, armed robbery, and one-chance vehicle operators should be a cause of concern for the authorities. We also told you that former Central Bank Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi has again blown hot. He told the APC governorship candidate in the 2023 general elections in Kano State, Nasir Kawana, and other party stalwarts that it was too late to accept defeat after Supreme Court's judgments.
You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platform on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for watching. I am Imefonukun.
Ìsọ alàgbàlúgbò. Èmi má kàn wá gbátẹ́gùn lórí òkè pẹ̀mọ́ ni.
Àtẹ̀gùn. Ìwọ nílé ọlọ́nà. Jọ kí ló wá mú ọ tó fi kó gbogbo jàǹkárò àti ìdọ̀tí sára?
Ìsọ. Ebe òkú ti mọ̀ pé lọ́dọ̀ wọn ní bí wọ́n ṣe ń kó nǹkan wọn sọ́rùn ni. Bí wọ́n ṣe ń wà kísà wọn kiri. Wọ́n sì wí pé ẹni ò bá mọ̀bọ̀ yóò ṣe bí ọ̀bọ.
Ọ̀gá ọ̀, ìwọ ọmọ nílé ọlọ́nà.
Ìsọ, mo rò pé bóyá kí n wá ṣeré lọ sáàrin ìgboro wọn.
Fẹ́ ṣeré lọ sí ìgboro wọn láti lọ ṣe kí ni o?
Èmi mọ̀ kàn fẹ́ lọ gbátẹ́gùn mọ́ ni kí n kàn rìn káàkiri kí n wo bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe bí wọ́n ṣe ń hùwà wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe sí ni o.
Torí yèyé òsì láàfin ló fẹ́ mú ọ jáde yẹn o. O ti wá gbàgbé pé gbogbo wákàtí tó kù tí èyí ò padà sáàfin kò ju wákàtí irinwó lọ mọ́.
Ìsọ, ó kúkú mọ̀ pé ọjọ́ kan tí a nísàlẹ̀ omi òun lọ́dún kan tí wọ́n lókè èpẹ̀ kò sí iye ìgbà tí wọ́n lò má ti rìn káàkiri láàrin wọn tí mo ṣeré tí wọ́n sì ń padà kí èyí ò tó dé kódà èyí ò ní mọ̀ pé mo rebi kan.
Òótọ́ ni ó tó rí yẹn sọ.
Àfi tó bá fún mi láyé o.
Mo yàn dáre sàmọ́ pẹ́.
Ìsọ alàgbàlúgbò.
Omi ìjẹ̀lá máa fojú mi sọ́nà o. Báwo ló ṣe wá máa ṣètọ́jú ara rẹ lọ́hùn báyìí?
Ìsọ o ti wílẹ̀ kó ní mi ò nílé ọlọ́nà kí ni mo fẹ́ tọ́wọ́ mi ò ní tó dákun kí ni kí wá bọ̀ mú bọ̀.
Bá mi mú bọ̀ láti bo tó mọ̀ pé gbogbo àwọn alágbára wọn àwọn olóyè wọn àwọn ọlọ́lá wọn kódà àwọn onímọ̀ wọn kọ̀ọ̀kan ibi tí wọ́n ti wá tọrọ nǹkan rẹ̀ tá a sì ń fún wọn kí ló wà bẹ́ẹ̀ mi bọ̀ látọ̀dọ̀ wọn.
Ọkọ̀ kòkòrò bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ṣe ti wá gbà mí láyè báyìí kí n lọ.
Mo yan dáre má pẹ́. Mo yan dáre mọ pẹ́ o mọ pẹ́ o.
Ìsán alàgbàlúgbò
ìsàwùrù. Ojú tó wà fún kó sábà mọ gbogbo tí mo kọ.
you get to school, be playing with sand like your children. You understand? You have to be responsible. You don't want to be like your daddy. She was like, over the doctor. My doctor, give me 5. The doctor told me. My baby at a bro, I be happy. Oh yeah, love Papa back because of the go for school. And dad, that's your daddy now. Dad, is it mommy money or daddy? My game. My baby. You want to become a philanthropist? I love my baby. Hey, I am beautiful. My daddy said that we are not going to school today. Wait. Your daddy said yeah. Why? You don't know. Larry! Oh God, you won't mama jẹ. Kò sí bẹ́ẹ̀ yóò ṣe ní ìṣòro burúkú lẹ́ẹ̀kan báyìí. Larry! Kí ló tó láwọn ọmọ ò ní lọ school lónìí? Kí ló dé tó ní wọn ní lọ school?
Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Ṣòde.
Ṣé mo dé?
Ṣòde.
Ṣé mo dé?
Tó máa dédé pariwo wá pariwo kí nílé.
Mo lọ ni.
Kí ló rán wọn wá bá mi sí?
Yòdé. Mo ní kó wá gbowó school lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ for the first time láàrin 3 months. Olóòlè fún wọn lówó pé kó lọ jókòó sílé. Ó fọ́ ni. So nítorí pé wọn jẹ́ ìwọ lọ school wọn rówó lóyún school ayé ẹ̀ rí báyìí ká ń gbé àwọn ọmọ máa rí báyìí kó wá rí báyìí fún mi àbí.
Mo rọrùn tó máa sọ sí mi o. Mo rọrùn tó máa sọ sí mi o. Tí o bá lè fún wọn lówó kọ́ lọ sí school kọ́ jókòó.
Ṣé o rí kò sí nǹkan Ọlọ́run kò sí kéèyàn má ṣe mistake kan ìwọ ẹ̀ oníranù ló ṣì.
Èmi ló pèsè mọ́.
Ìwọ ni mo
pèsè mọ́. Èmi ló pèsè mọ́.
Mo pèsè mọ́ ẹ.
Ṣé o mọ̀ túmọ̀ kéèyàn jẹ́ adé orí èèyàn sá?
Jésù ojú tì mí close your eyes do like this do like this do like this wà wọn ọmọ igan ojú tì wọ́n fẹ́ your father is so shapeless.
Kí ló pa ọ lẹ́yìn?
Kó sunkún ni.
Sori kan tó ń dalẹ̀ táwọn ọmọ fi mí rẹ́ẹ̀nì tó fi mí rẹ́ẹ̀nì.
Ìwọ bí landlord wà sápamọ́ ni the other time your daddy hide maybe you are doing that daddy your daddy say you go and meet landlord your daddy will hide èmi máa san wọlé wọ́n máa mú nepa bí wa èmi máa san kò ní sóúnjẹ èmi máa rà owó skul àwọn ọmọ èmi ni máa san àwọn mẹ̀lẹ́bí àtún kọ́sẹ̀ léra wọn wọ́n á tẹ̀léra wọn bí ẹni tó lọ stadium wọ́n á ti wá màá tún san màá tún fún wọn lówó wọ́n á sọ pé ìwà adé orí kọ́ ìrùkẹ̀rẹ̀ ọwọ́ ni.
ọjọ́ tó bá tún ṣerú nǹkan tó ṣe yẹn ọjọ́ tó bá tún sọ̀rọ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó ṣe má lù ẹ́.
bí ẹjọ́ láre bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún ẹ.
tòmọ̀kẹ́ tó bá tún bá mi sòṣì ọ̀rọ̀ mẹ́ mo máa dìde gbá ojú ẹ mẹ́ yẹn.
tó bá ti dìde ọmọ àlè ni ẹ.
èmi
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún ẹ. jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó
bá wà ní ọlọ́mọ àlè kọ́ nínú wa ṣé ọmọ mi ọmọ tẹ́wọ̀n gbọ́. It's all right, Tobi.
Don't mind your daddy on the check kankan. Alika alagidi oṣù.
Tí kò bá ń ṣọlọ ọmọ ẹ̀.
Touch me. You think it's a joke?
O mọ nǹkan tí mo lè ṣe. O mọ mi gan.
Láre o mọ mi. Ẹ mọ mi. Èfè kí lè fẹ́ ṣe? Ẹ fẹ́ forí gbá. Bó ṣe rí. Wàhálà jẹ́ kankan, màá ti ọwọ́ bọ̀ ẹ̀ lójú. I know that there's no àbẹ̀yẹ̀ ṣe máa wù wálé iye tí ò ní ṣe ẹsẹ̀ gbé ìwọ ìyẹsẹ̀ olóṣì àgbàyẹ̀jú bó ṣe rí nítorí gbígbẹ bí kíní.
Múra síṣẹ́ ìwọ rẹ̀ múra síṣẹ́ ìwọ ọ̀rẹ́.